Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm the Book Guy, and today we are resuming our journey reading through the Discworld series. This is a big one. We're up to book number 8, Guards, the first of the City Watch books, and in my opinion, the first perfect Discworld book. The first of them in chronological order to finally achieve the state of just being an A+ god tier book.
Perfection.
Just before we begin, I'll remind you of the rules for this video series I'm doing. Number 1, you can watch these videos in any order because Discworld is very episodic. Number 2, these videos are all spoiler-free because I'm trying to kind of entice people to actually read them. But number 3, heads up, this is like a movie trailer in that I'll tell you a couple things about the story to try to entice you. You ready for that? All right, let's get into Guards. So first of all, like I said, first of the City Watch books, the City Watch had a cameo in book 5, Sorcery, but this is the first where they are the main characters. City Watch is also one of the most popular of this sub-series within Discworld, and there are 8 books, kind of making it the biggest, unless you combine the 2 Witches books series, but we'll get the 8 books we have in question are, there's Guards, which we're starting today, there's Men-at-Arms, Feet of Clay, Jingo, The Fifth Elephant, Night Watch, Thud, and Snuff. Essentially, the City Watch books are crime and mystery novels very much set in a fantasy world. They are police officers who are trying to solve crimes and catch the bad guy in a typical, I don't know, Law and Order, CSI, or something more recent type story. But very much fantasy, so there's magical things as well that keep it a bit more spicy than normal. These books are actually quite different from other Discworld novels in that they are much more tense, they're more action heavy, and there's more of a risk. For example, people will say that the 3 main characters within Discworld on a whole is Death, Granny Weatherwax, and Sam Vimes, who we meet today. Now, Death is kind of immortal, right? Like, despite his title, he's not really going anywhere. And Granny Weatherwax can do incredible, powerful magic. She is a force of nature. Sam Vimes is our most human hero. He has the most mortality, the highest risk whenever he's in the story. And just ignore the fact that he's in 8 books, okay? He's very, very mortal, high risk. But Sam is also a very grounded character. He is human. He is all of us. And that's one of the reasons that I think City Watch books resonate so hard with people, because they're the most relatable. But now let's get into the actual story. So when we start this book, the City Watch is very weak. There's only 3 members left, and they've literally just lost one of their final members who has died in an accident. The crew are ready to give up and move on and just abandon the city to a total cesspit of crime. Meanwhile, things are getting even worse because there is a cult that has stolen some magic and using it to summon a dragon. They are hoping that by creating a bit of a crisis, it will allow them to take over the city and seize total control. But in the midst of this crisis comes Carrot Ironfoundersson. I can't even pronounce his name. Carrot was raised by dwarves in the far-off country, and he's very idealistic and unaware of city culture and crime. So he comes into the city determined to be the best copper of all, and he's going to stick to the book and stick to the letter of the law. He's completely unprepared for the realities of this harsh world, and yet Carrot might be just the thing that the City Watch need to spur them back into action and to save their city. So looking at the plot of this book, we've got 3 main plot lines in this one. Now, I've established in our video series that the Discworld books get a little bit more complex with their plot. They start juggling multiple plot lines as well, and they don't always balance well, but they balance incredibly well here. This is the moment where all of our different plot lines are still focused on the same goal, so it feels like the entire book is a powerhouse of momentum moving towards a climax. Our 3 main plot lines are 1, the investigation into the dragon. So this is a crime and a mystery plot line, but very much more fantasy because there is a literal dragon and magic being employed. This is a fantastic plotline because it's a new addition to the Discworld sphere. You see, normally Discworld has, done satire of other genres in the past, and now it's a satire on classic cop crime stories, and yet it's 100% sincere. This is a cop crime story, just with magical elements into it, and it's fantastically done. The question is, who are these people summoning the dragon? What are they doing, and how are they planning to take over the city? And our heroes in the City Watch are trying to figure it out before it can happen. Our second main plotline is Carrot, our naive and idealistic hero, who's over 6 feet tall. He's massive, he's broad-shouldered, and he's a beast, and he's just like this force of nature. entering the city. In fact, when Carrot is introduced into the book, there's a line that says he drifted into the city like an iceberg into a shipping lane. In many other stories, a character like Carrot would be naive and he would, fall apart. He'd be broken and humbled. But in this story, Carrot is so pure, so noble. It's much more like Paddington, where instead of him having a character arc where he's brought down to the realistic level, instead he brings everyone else up to his level. Carrot has this incredible effect on those around him where they want to be better. They want to match the vision he has of them and live up to his expectations because he's such a great guy. The impact of Carrot's life on the city watch and on the wider city are like ripples from a stone hitting the water, and he has an incredible impact on this story. The third main plot line is, I'm going to call it Sam Vimes learning to love again. So when we meet Sam at the beginning of the story, he's very broken, he's given up, and he's at rock bottom. And yet we see his personal life, we see the spark come back as he tries to solve this mystery, as he tries to live up to the expectations Carrot has on him, and we see him come alive. So all three of these plot lines are very much focused on the same goal, and they complement each other and balance each other very well. And they're also just so heartfelt. Like, they're not just entertaining, you really feel and empathize with these characters, and that's what makes it work. But let's focus on those characters for a second. So essentially, this is a buddy cop story. It's a comedy duo, like we've had with Rincewind and Two Flower, or maybe Granny Weatherwax and Esque in different books, but now it's Carrot and Sam Vimes. On one hand, we have Carrot, who is idealistic and pure, and Sam Vimes, who's gritty and cynical, and they bounce off each other so well. The dynamic of these two characters is literally the driving force behind most of the City Watch books. But what's extra interesting to me is that Carrot was meant to be the main character of this story. In fact, when you read, I don't know, maybe the first 100 pages of it, Carrot is front and center because he is very much like the type of character we've seen so far in Discworld, these pure or single-minded characters who just want one thing really badly. But then we get Sam Vimes, and he's the guy who took over the story and in many ways shaped much of the later Discworld books, because Sam is a cynical guy who learns to love again. He is a Grinch whose heart grows 3 times. And yet at the same time, he always remains that hardened bastard, even as he learns to soften himself and grow so much over the course of the series. There are other characters. I mean, there's the comedy duo of Nobby Nobbs and Fred Colin, who are our 2 bumbling, fellow officers who don't really know what they're doing. They're mostly there for comedy, but they're good fun. We also have Lady Sybil, who Sam has to investigate for the case. She's an expert on dragons, and she also becomes a staple going forward into this series. She's this lovable, affable, but kind of loud and boisterous character who just thinks everyone should do what she expects and follow her instructions all the time. She's this larger-than-life lady. And of course, the Prachett-ian, the leader of Ankh-Morpork, has a big role in the City Watch books because he's Sam Vimes' boss, and Sam does not like him at all. So they have a great tension and yet professional relationship. There's also a lot of deep themes in this story, and I think this is one of the best examples of the themes of Discworld, adding such richness and depth to the story without pushing it off course, without dominating the story too much. Like, one of my favorite deeper themes here is the idea of creating a crisis that allows for hostile takeover. And the idea of these people summoning a dragon literally just to create instability so that people are more fearful and more accepting of any idea they put forward. It's something that we see over and over again in history and in the present day, and it's explored very well here. We also get... I might be reading into it too much, but there is a funny little discussion about perceived oppression. It's a group of people in the cult who think they're very hard done by, but they're actually not very hard done by, and they've actually got things pretty good. That's a funny little theme that's explored. The big theme that we have in this book and in all the City Watch books are the role of law enforcement. I mean, Sam Vimes is very much angry at his boss, because the Prachett-ian is always saying that, you should do what I expect you to do. And Sam's like, my loyalty is not to you, the leader. My loyalty is to the people and to the city. And that's what makes Sam one of the good ones. No. I mean, speaking frankly, a lot of people talk about all cops are bastards. Does that apply to Sam Vimes? I think Sam Vimes will be the first to say it applies to him. But moving on, the other more personable theme of this story is not giving up. Because we have Sam Vimes and his other officers who are trying to create a better city and a safer city, and it's just hopeless. The odds are overwhelming. There's too many evil people out there. And yet this is a story which is all about not giving up on trying to make the world a better place. The book is also filled with a lot of wise sayings, which is one of a classic trait of Discworld, that you're reading a book and you're having a great time and you're very entertained in the story, and then it just hits you with this absolute asteroid of wisdom right in the face. I love this quote here, which says, "They accept evil, not because they say yes, but because they don't say no." It's a powerful reminder that often evil doesn't need our agreement, it just needs our silence. Some of these wise lines can be potentially relevant. I mean, there's a scene where Carrot is called by the librarian because someone has stolen a book. And Carrot says, "You summoned the watch because someone's taken a book? You think that's worse than murder?" The librarian gave him the kind of look other people would reserve for people who said things like, "What's so bad about genocide?" There's also great lines about the nature of humanity itself. There's a scene where someone is talking to a dragon and calling them evil, and the dragon responds with, "We were dragons. We were supposed to be cruel, cunning, heartless, and terrible. But this much I can tell you. We never burned and tortured and ripped one another apart and called it morality." Now, like all Discworld books, this book is filled with humor, but I also feel as though the City Watch books have a much darker sense of humor, much more cynical and worldly, like it's been beaten down a fair bit. One great example is, if there was anything that depressed him more than his own cynicism, it was that quite often it still wasn't as cynical as real life. Kind of a morbid bit of humor there. There's also this one, "I believe you find life such a problem because you think there are good people and bad people. You're wrong, of course. There are, always and only, the bad people. But some of them are on opposite sides." Again, kind of funny, but kind of depressing. It's that sort of vibe all through this book. One little thing I'll mention, there is a rather large overweight character in this book, and there are some jokes about their body weight. Now, I know fat jokes are taboo these days, and I think rightfully so, but I do want to clarify and say I don't think Prachett is trying to be disrespectful and body shaming. One example of these types of jokes is there's the line, "She breathed in and out, and her chest rose and fell like an empire." Right? So it's sort of a comedy joke and observation about someone's weight. I don't think it's meant to be disrespectful, but that is up to you if that's something you're comfortable with. I feel like I should let you know. But let me finish this up by saying that Guards is the first outing in the City Watch, and it is very much a book that did not go the way Prachett expected when he thought that Carrot was going to be the main character, and Sam kind of took over. In that sense, this is book 8 in the series. We don't get another City Watch book until book 15, Men-at-Arms. And yet, the City Watch dominates the second and third act of the wider Discworld series. So they become a major feature of it. And later when we go through these videos, you're going to find that it's every second week's going to be a City Watch book for a little while. I also think the shift to focus on this sub-series in particular is one of the reasons why Discworld gets so much better as it goes along, because this is lightning in a bottle. This is the perfect balance between his comedy work and his serious work, between fantasy and realism. You should also know that Guards is a very common starting place in the Discworld series. I 100% recommend it for that reason. I think it's a great entry. It's got all the best traits of Discworld all wrapped up in one. The strong story, strong characters, and a lot of good humor. I really do recommend that one for your consideration, but I'll finish it there. Guys, if you want to support the work I'm doing, I have my own books on the shelf behind me, The Immortal Investigations, I have a Patreon, and I have a shop. Any of those three things will help keep me running. Otherwise, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you enjoy a good book today, and I hope it is a Discworld book. Bye!